Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special stream tonight because we are going to be participating in a game jam. So, as you can see, I have basically nothing on my desktop, which is okay because all the clutter has been moved over to my other monitor. And yeah, so we're going to be doing some fun stuff, making some games. So a while ago, I wanted to try and do a game jam on stream, and things didn't quite work out the way I'd hoped. And so now I'm figuring it's the right time. We got plenty of time to do this game jam, so yeah, I figured now would be a good time to try and, try it out. So let me just bring over. By the way, I have some music from Kevin MacLeod. I hope that's how you pronounce that. Who runs Incompetech.com, I believe it is. It's a lot of royalty-free music. I figured it's better than just having nothing throughout the stream. So I've got it playing on YouTube, so I don't know if there will be any ads or anything throughout the video. I hope not, because that would kind of stink, but I'll try my best to mute them if I get the chance. Alright, so anyways, so there's actually the game jam that we'll be participating in, is actually called My First Game Jam. So, which is kind of interesting. There's that ad I was telling you about. So maybe I never did do supplementary music for streams, so maybe we can try and figure out a good way to try and find some music to play throughout the stream. Maybe we can do try and find a really long video or something. If you guys have any suggestions for that sort of thing, feel free to let me know. But yeah, so in a moment I will go and alright, so what we're gonna do is, let me just bring this window over here. Bam! So yeah, they do this little My First Game Jam. I think it's twice a year. And so basically the idea is that it's going to be your introduction to game development, or rather your first game jam experience. Even if you have no programming experience at all, you can still participate. There's plenty of opportunities for people we need art for games, we need music for games, things like that. So there's always ways you can participate even if you don't know how to make a full game. So in any case, so this, as you can see, July 5th through the 20th, and it is currently July 5th, so even though it started much earlier in the day, I wasn't able to really participate in it earlier, so yeah, here we are. And there's a lot to go through here, so I'm not going to go through all of this. The theme for this game jam is let me get this a little more zoomed in, actually. There we go. A little bit easier to read there. So as I was saying, the optional theme is pride. So I've been trying to think of ways to incorporate that throughout the game. And I have a couple ideas, which we'll get to in a bit. And here's just a lot of things for behind the scenes stuff that you should be doing, like make a devlog. I don't know if I'll be doing that, but I'll be definitely obviously recording all my progress here. Manage your time and tasks. This is going to be pretty important for me because I have a strong tendency to basically get in way over my head with planning things that will either take me a really long time to do or are just too overwhelming in some way or another. So that's going to be pretty important there to keep an eye on tasks and make sure that things aren't getting out of control. So resources are pretty important. Could join the Discord chat at some point, perhaps. And yeah, so blah. Yeah, to give a little bit of background of my experience with game development. So I like programming. I've done a lot with Game Maker in the past, but I had trouble completing games. So I figured this would be. I think I've only finished a couple of games. So I think this will be kind of interesting to try out. Right, so basically we'll be I think that like today we're going to be looking at just like the planning aspect of everything, trying to make sure we can do everything to the best of our ability and see where to kind of go from there. All right, so that's. Oh, and by the way, this is until the 20th as well, so we've got about 2 weeks to kind of make something. So I do want to try and get the theme of pride in here somehow. There's a lot of different ways you can interpret that. You could be the one I'm thinking of is like I've been thinking about this all day, and I think like the routes I want to go is like, how do I describe it? Like being proud of someone, like almost like a game where you want to make your dad proud of you or something like that. Like something kind of on that route. Or the other thing I was thinking of was like a game where the goal is to like like doing a job you don't want to do but trying to take pride in it or something like that. Like being a dishwasher perhaps. Because, it's I think it's kind of funny, like trying to take pride in your work when you're doing something like that. And I should know because I've been a dishwasher for a while in the past, and so I kind of know what that sort of thing is like. Okay, so but the important thing is we want to make sure to try and get. Is there a cat? Hi, Domino. Oh, you're lonely, huh? Everyone went to bed. Sorry, I gotta pay the cat tax. Oh, Domino. I know you're gonna get your claws stuck in that blanket over there. Okay. That's enough for now. I'll pet you more later, don't worry. Okay, yeah, so I think the first thing we're going to do is try and figure out, I really would like to get this some music going, but I don't want you guys to sit through a bunch of ads. So I'm wondering if we can find some, like royalty-free music we could, we could play for a while and not have to worry about it. And I wonder if there's anything with Streamlabs that could help me out there. Maybe because there's a song request thing here, but I don't know how to set that up, unfortunately. What could we do? I wonder if I have any playlists saved for music where we don't have to worry about we don't have to worry about things popping up in between. Well, I got some classical music, but I've only got 3 songs on there, so that's not really gonna not really gonna be very long there. Yeah, I just don't want you guys to be like sitting in silence, you know. Want to have something going to make sure that that there's some music going on. Let me take a look at this one for a sec. Hmm. I think I found something. It's hard to say. Now I kind of wish I looked at this stuff before we started this. All right, I think I found something. It's going to be interesting because I haven't listened to it, but I think this is going to be something safe to kind of put on stream for copyright reasons. And so so let me just just so you guys can kind of see where I'm getting it from. So it's this basically. So it's called Longing, I guess. It's an hour loop, so we'll see how long things will go for. But just wanted to let you guys know where I'm kind of getting it from, and I'll I might have to do some stuff later with this, but we'll see. So thought I felt a burp coming on. All right, so let's see what this sounds like. Sounds pretty nice so far. Okay. Might be a little loud, so maybe I'll kind of adjust the volume a bit. Yeah, alright. I think that should be good. Alright, took a little longer than expected to try and get that straightened out, but now we got a little background music going on. So now we can make some progress. Alright, so the theme is Pride. Before we get into like the actual game development stuff, I wanted to, I think a good idea to start off with these types of things is to just get a vague plan going on. So let's go to Paint and get some ideas sketched out. We'll just kind of fill this up. Maybe not that much. Okay, so what do we need to... I think the first thing that we should look at is... Let me make this kind of thick here. So, first thing we want to look at is... Beautiful penmanship there. Okay, so need to figure out how good I think I am at different aspects of game development so I can know where to kind of focus my efforts on and kind of, you want to play to your strengths basically. So, could do programming. I guess I could just type this. Maybe that would be maybe that wouldn't be the worst idea. Is there? Yeah. Let's maybe let's go and kind of undo all that. Oh, not that much. Okay. Let's do this the easier way. And how can I edit this to be like bigger font? Oh, there we go. Maybe even bigger than that. Okay. So we'll go bigger. There we are. And then we'll underline this. Bam, looks exactly the same as before. All right. So that doesn't need to be underlined, really. So we got programming, art. Oh, I guess I could have just done that before. All right, what else do we need? Sounds and music. Those are the main things. But what else is important? Planning. That is printing. I meant to do Shift and P. Okay. Planning. What else is important for making games? What else is important? Time management. Oh, and I should mention I'm going to be, at least for now, working on this project on my own. I don't know if there's... I don't know if I'd like to kind of put... Not that verb. I don't know if I want to work with anyone else on this right now. Maybe that'll change depending on how things go. I don't know. We'll see. Is there anything else we need? I can't think of anything. We'll just go with these for now. So let's see. Alright, that should be good for that. And how... Alright, we'll do this out of 5 stars, where 5 is the best and, like, 1 is the worst. So I would say for programming, we'll... You know, I'm pretty confident in programming, so I'll give myself... I'm not an expert, though, and I'm kind of new to C#. So maybe like 3.5 out of 5, maybe? We'll just... There, 3.5 out of 5, we'll say. Oh, I should have colored those in. Alright. Fixed. 3.5. Okay. 3.5 out of 5 stars, we'll say for that. Art. I'm not really good at art. So I will say maybe 1. Okay, at least 1. So I think I get caught up pretty, a lot for art. So we'll say 1.5. And we'll leave it at that. That's not what I wanted. Oh, you know what it is? Because... There we go. And... Alright, so... Sounds and music. So I think I'll be okay with that. So we'll say 3 stars. Planning, we're going to be doing a lot of planning today. We'll say 3 stars for that as well. Time management, I'm just going to go with 1 there, because I have a tendency to kind of go off and focus on one thing way too much, and we'll go from there. So, anyways, so that's kind of the skills that we're working with here. And we will see what we can do with that. Now, alright, so the theme we have is, like I said, pride. So there's a couple of different ways we can go about that. It is optional, though. So let's see, what could we do with this theme? I have a feeling this song's going to be looping for the whole hour here, which I don't know if that's the worst thing in the world. I'd say that's okay. I also don't want to find more music right now when we just got started. So, anyways, let's see, what can we do with Alright, I guess the first thing we should do is come up with things that we can associate with pride. So, for example, you could make someone proud. You could be proud of yourself. One that kind of pops into mind is, you know, if you wanted to do something with like LGBTQ stuff. Because I'm sure there's people that are going to be doing that. I feel like I wouldn't be kind of doing that sort of theme justice if I did that kind of route. Because, yeah, I just don't think I'd be able to do it justice. So I'm probably not going to be going with that sort of route just because of that. What else? There was... I think there was other stuff. So you can be proud when you kind of complete a task or like a big doing a big accomplishment was the phrase that came into my mind, but that's not how the English language works. So accomplishing something big or daunting. What else? What else could we kind of work into this theme if we wanted to, like, think about different routes we could go on? I guess I should make these, like, bullet points almost. You can also have pride in a negative way, I guess. So, like, so it'd be like if there was like a villain that was overly prideful or something like that. Okay, so these are like options that we have to work with. So, like I was saying before, I think the things that I want to try are, like, I kind of want to make a game, like, one option being, like you're a kid and you want to make your parents proud of you or something like that. Maybe, like, you're seeing, like, oh, my other siblings are doing so much and getting so much attention. So you'd want your parents to be proud of you as well, or something like that. Though we got to make sure the gameplay's kind of good too. That's important. The other idea that I had was like being. I guess we can make this a bullet point, like being proud, or like taking pride in your work. So, and I was thinking like something like trying to, kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, be sure to take pride in your work so you'll do a good job, even though like maybe your job is terrible or something like that. So that could be kind of interesting there. And I think it's kind of fun trying to like model maybe like something that, like a job that you wouldn't really think of, like a job you'd think would be menial, and trying to make a game out of that. I think that could be kind of interesting. So I think these are the main things that we could work with. And there could probably be some overlap and stuff too. I'm definitely open to suggestions if anyone has, any ideas. And that goes for like the whole game jam. I want to make sure I'm like kind of not really collaborating, but I want to. It's easier to like talk things through um, when you're doing this sort of stuff. I'm thinking right now. I don't think I signed up for this actually, so I don't know if I have to do that before I really start. Let me check that real quick. So let me leave that up so you can maybe get some ideas, or if you guys have any ideas for things I could try looking at. Oh, yeah, and I should. So we don't even have to go this route if we don't want to, but I think it's important to keep things open. Alright, I just wanted to make sure this wasn't going to be just because I have to put in a username and password. Not that I remember my password, but still have to put it in. I didn't think that was the right password. This will only take a moment. Alright. So I like to keep a list of all my passwords. And the reason why I do that is because I try and make them really hard to remember and different for every site I use. So that is why I'm going to be writing this down on paper. So that way I can remember it for the future. let's go to... Alright, so we just got to fill up the sign-in form. Signing up as individual. No teammates. Email address is my email address. Okay. Alright, so it seems... I had the rest of that sentence, and I don't know where it went. Oh, maybe they wanted me to do this before I actually started, like, coding, I think. Oops. Oh, well. So I'll just complete the rest of that later. As long as we do it before, you know, before we start actually coding, we should be good. Alright, so let's get back to this sort of stuff. Alright, so the one idea I had before, I think the one I really want to work with is like if you're, I really want to do like if you're a dishwasher and trying to take pride in your work even though it's very difficult. Because I think that would be just kind of, I mean, I think it'd be like, it's like an okay, concept, but I think I have an idea of how the gameplay would work too. So I think that's kind of important as well, because you can turn anything into a game if you know how to go about it the right way. So let's just, there we go. And then another option would be, maybe like, I don't know, like maybe that could be the title or something. Those are the two routes I'm thinking of for this sort of thing. So if we, so, you know, just kind of spitballing basically for these different options. And I don't want to, the problem is I don't want to get like overly ambitious, but I do need to have like a good jumping off point. So let's say we want to do this other one. So like if you were like a little kid and you wanted to try and impress, even if it's not your parents, impress someone, like how would you go about that? Maybe it could be like, I want to say like almost like a top-down perspective, trying to find or like do things or do tasks to to get to make dad proud. Basically, like pulling all the weeds, because he spends a lot of time out there mowing the lawn or something. I'm thinking it's like a little, almost like kind of going around doing different tasks to see what you can do. Is there any other routes we could go in? I'm probably gonna be zoning out like this for a little while, every once in a while while I try and like think of stuff. What else? Another thing I was kind of thinking of with that second idea is that maybe it's not like a little kid, but maybe it's someone who's trying to like follow in one of their parents' footsteps or something. And I was kind of thinking of it in like a fantasy setting, but I gotta be realistic. I don't think I'll be able to do the art for something like that. I guess it doesn't have to be like dishwashing work for that first one, but the key, if we're doing something like that, we got to make sure that that it's fun. Basically, we want to make sure it's all that, because that's the most important thing. You want to make sure that it's fun to whatever work you're doing. You want to make sure the gameplay is fun there. Even that like concept of taking pride in your work when you're at a job, like I feel maybe it's just the jobs that I've had in the past, but I feel like whenever someone says like, oh, it's important to take pride in your work, or like companies will say like, we pride ourselves in offering this good and or service, things like that. I don't think I've really heard many people say that when they're actually like working that job or whatever job it might be. So, excuse me. I think that would be like I think it's just like I don't know. Maybe it's just not something I don't really see in the stuff that I've experienced, but I think it's just kind of funny. Like, oh, make sure you take pride in your work, which it's not really something we think about usually. And I don't think a lot of people, have that sort of thought in their head either. So I think maybe doing a little like kind of making it a little humorous. Like, yeah, maybe that would be a good idea. Like, if you're trying to make it humorous, why not like go all out and be like, you have this really menial job and you started day one and you decided like I'm gonna be the best cashier ever or something like that, and your ultimate goal is to become like the world's best cashier or something like that, or whatever position we end up doing for this. So, and then as the game progresses, your task will become like more and more complicated, things like that, until you are the best. So that could be fun. I think we'll do something like that. So maybe we'll just oh, you know what? Here we go. Ta-da! Beautiful. Oop. I need to click off of that first. Alright, I think that's kind of the route that we're gonna go with for this. Yeah, I think that would be fun. So we'll go with like a menial job, and you want to be, for some inexplicable reason, the world's best at that job. And so that'll be kind of like, and then you can be, that gives you a goal to get towards, and it kind of just being introduced, like, you want to be the world's best, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. So I'm probably going to do dishwasher for it, but we'll see how that goes. Because whatever I choose, it has to be fun. That's important. So want something with a good mix of, yeah, it's like it's fun when you don't have to physically do it. We want something where it's fun where you don't have to physically do it, but not boring when you don't have to physically do it either. Because, like, if you have a goal to do something in any game, you want to make sure it's kind of fun to do. So in something like, the reason why I'm thinking dishwashing would be a good fit is because it's something that in your head you might think, why would I ever want to do this? It's gross. It's, I'll get kind of gunk all over me. It's kind of hard work to do a lot of it all at once. But in the context of a game, you're not going to be smelling any of that dirty dish smell. You're not going to be worried about water spraying on you. Um, it's all, virtual, so you don't have to worry about any. Most of the negative parts are not really present, and so the only real thing is you're still trying to get dishes cleaned, for example, and so you're still trying to get dishes cleaned, but you still you don't have any of those things that you might kind of get turned off by if you were doing it as like a physical activity. And then the only thing from there is trying to figure out a good way to code that. So let's let's save this. So we will save this as my first game jam, and alright, and maybe we can just kind of extend this downwards. Maybe, please. Oh, actually, here we go. Wow, that was much straighter than I was expecting. Wow, that is like a super straight line, except that for the end there. Alright, so I think that's the route we're going to be going on. So let's see what we can do with that in mind. Sorry, I'm just going to check something real quick. I'll leave that up there in case anyone wants to look at that. My frames per second are really not doing too hot right now. Not sure why. So what happens if we stop this music? Will that help any? is kind of weird. I'm wondering why it's so low there. It seems so bizarre. I'm going to run a speed test real quick. Because I just did a test stream today and it wasn't really acting like that. That is kind of weird, but I don't think there's anything I can do to kind of fix it right now. So sorry about that, guys. I don't know what could be causing that. Okay, so I think we have some good ideas. And I think that I'm going to try and develop them a little more. But for now, I think I'm going to try and get a few of those kind of... I think it'd be a good idea to have some of those ideas kind of logged down before we kind of end things off, because I don't want to stream too late. Especially with these issues. I really thought I had them fixed, but apparently I was mistaken. So, alright, so let's go with... Okay. So, we want to come up with some good ideas, maybe with some amazingly drawn diagrams. Okay, so all right, let's say you want to be the best dishwasher in the world. So I think that that kind of sums up the idea for the gameplay that we want. And what else? So how would it actually operate? So I think... So based on my prior experience, yeah, it doesn't seem like this music was having any impact at all on this stuff. So let's continue that music going a little longer. Alright, so how would we actually implement the act of washing dishes in a game? Okay, so I would say you'd want it to be in first person, because it is you who wants to wash the dishes, or who needs to wash the dishes, so that kind of also saves a little bit on art stuff. What else? What else can we say here? So you'd want to... So I guess one thing you need to do is you want to scrub. You need to scrub things. Scrub the dishes off. Rinse. Sanitize. So those are like the 4 things you'd want to do for washing dishes, especially if you're in like a restaurant or something. So you could have all sorts of things. You could have like dishes, silverware, glassware. You could have pots and pans. Could have other, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if I'll be able to implement this, but you could have maybe like, sometimes you need to wash machine parts that handle food. What else? So those are like some items that you'd be washing probably. So maybe there could be a separate area for pots and pans. So the idea I'm thinking of is there is gunk on the dishes. We'll just say dishes for like the overall term. and you want to use the correct. So I guess the first step when we'll go scrubbing. Gunk on the dishes. Use the correct scrubber. We'll say, because you know, on the right. So you don't want to use steel wool on a glass like that you drink from, for example, because that'll scrape it up. So you want to use the correct scrubber on the correct dishes and get all the gunk off. So for the next part, rinsing. So when you're doing rinsing, that's really just rinsing for the most part. I guess for scrubbing, if I wanted to go the extra mile, I would do like maybe there's stuff on both sides of the dish. Ooh, but we'll see about that. So for rinsing, then let's see. Because obviously you just want to... Oh, actually, hold on. Let's clarify this. You want to loosen the gunk off. Because rinsing, you want to spray water to so just spray water to wash away the gunk. Sometimes you'd want to soak dishes. So trying to think where you would put that. Because you could do it for... Because what I'm thinking is, like, sometimes they have these, like, three... I forget the word for it, but there's, like, 3 different compartments for, like, the type of sink that you have. So if it's like one specifically for scrubbing, one's for like washing, and one's for rinsing, and then one's for sanitizing. So you want to, if you wanted to soak something, I'm trying to think which where would that go? Oh, especially we're doing a separate area for pots and pans. So actually, that'll be... Alright, we'll do soaking for the pots and pans area. Let's just kind of stretch this out all the way here. Alright, so sanitizing. So I don't think there's really much to say about this other than to make sure that you remember to do it. So maybe just submerge dish in sanitizing. on okay. Maybe not put away to dry. Oh, actually, this could be... Okay, I'll tell you what I'm thinking about in 1 second. So, for drying, you want to make sure to... So, you want to wait until dish is dry. That is not how you spell that. So wait until the dish is dried completely, then put away. So another thing we could say is there is limited space on drying rack. So that could be a limitation. And so basically, if there's limited space, then you want to make sure to kind of budget your time accordingly. What else could we put? So, if we're looking at... Yeah, if we're looking at... If we wanted this to be accurate, then you don't, like, say you're scrubbing dishes, and then you realize, oh, I have some items that I need to put away. You don't go immediately from scrubbing to just grabbing the clean dish and putting it away, because that's gross, and then you have to wash the dish again. So maybe that's something that could be like you'd have to make sure to wash your hands before you put away the clean dishes, or before you put away the clean dishes, because we'll say when you're sanitizing, then your hands are getting sanitized too, and so it's okay that you're doing that sort of thing there. So, like, if you're, I guess the way that the game will work is if you're grabbing a dish from from this phase to try and put it away, or put it on the drying rack, then that wouldn't be a problem. But putting it away, you're going to need to make sure that your hands are all washed, which is a time constraint. So, and then we'll have something for pots and pans. So that's a separate area. With same steps. But you can also, but with tougher dishes, I guess. We'll say to do it just with tougher dishes that you can soak. So that way, it can, you can, like, set things to soak and then come back to them later when they're finished. I hope I'm not, like, going off the page with this, with what I have right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to just copy this, click there. Oh gosh. This is why I copied the text. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. Whoop. Bam! Alright. I fixed it, don't worry. I think. Alright, we'll just... Good enough, and then we'll start another thing here. Okay, what else can we do? Okay, so we have those things. So we want to think about more. This is like the general idea stuff. Let's think about what we can do for actual what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, how can we represent some of these things? How would the controls work? So let's say that maybe we don't want to think about control specifically, but like looking at just like different aspects. So actually, you know what? Something I should have done with the text stuff. Looking at a notepad document for this. Because that way I can edit it. Can I not increase the size of this? Oh, maybe font. Maybe that's too big. I hear a cat. Simon. Hi. You want to say hi? You want to say hi to people? Or you just want me to pet you? Come on. Hi. No? No? You don't want to come up? You just want to sniff my blankets? Nope. Alright, well, I tried. I'll just pet you. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. So, like we said, this was going to be gameplay ideas. Alright, so these are some of like the aspects there. Maybe we can... Alright, so we have, for example, scrubbing. How would we represent this? So you'd want to use the mouse to what? So I use the mouse to scrub by holding a mouse button and dragging the mouse across the dish. Maybe before that, you'd want to like choose a dish with the mouse. Alright, so choose a dish with the mouse. I'm almost thinking we want menus to be for like the interface with these. So like you'd have, for example, like the dish, and then you'd have something, or like maybe like a list of the other dishes on the side that you need to dish, or that you need to wash, and you can kind of drag it from one area to another. So we'll choose a dish with a mouse from a menu, and then choose a scrubber from a menu, and then use the mouse to scrub by like physically, like my whole whole monitor is shaking there, but like just like literally scrubbing it across there. The original idea I had was way more complex, and I'm glad I came across this menu idea, because that would have been way too much effort to do it my other way. Let's just say it was complicated. Or did that? Oh, that actually ended the music there. There we go. Oops. I'm gonna try something real quick. So I'm gonna try disconnecting from my internet and then reconnecting and see if that fixes things. So I'm gonna be offline for a little bit, but hopefully this should fix the issues, because I really want to make sure that things are, going smoothly. So I will be right back, and hopefully this will kind of fix things. I think I might have fixed it. Well, Actually, hang on a sec. Let me double check one thing. I'll be right back. Oh, okay. I think I see what's going on. For some reason, while I'm doing this computer capture, my frame rate is just tanking. So I wonder if there's something I can do here to fix that. I'm just kind of like, I wish I would have noticed it earlier, but I guess there's only so much I can do here. So let me... So what happens if... I think... Alright, so what happens if I just... click that like that? Yeah, now my frame rate goes way up there. Okay, so it's definitely this one thing that's causing all the trouble here. Because as soon as I closed that, frame rate went up to 60 frames per second as it should be, and now it's at 12, which is really bad. Okay, so let me see if I can come up with a quick fix to this. Ooh, that's not what I want. Alright, so what if we do this instead? So let's call this one... That's not what I want to capture. That's what I want to capture. I don't know what this actually does. Alright, so let's just bring this all the way here. There we go. And now we just got to do something. Yeah, so let's just get rid of this one, because this has not been helping us at all. Well, sorry about that. I wish I would have caught that sooner. But I guess I just didn't. Okay, so... And let's do another one to get this notepad. Why is... I'll have to look into that more, trying to figure out why it's... why capturing the entire screen just tanks the frame rate, whereas doing it just as the individual pieces is not... why I wasn't doing it there. Alright. Oh, and let's... Here we go. Alright. It only took, what, almost an hour and a half, but we should be streaming at a steady, solid 60 FPS now. Oops. Well, I guess this is one of those things where, now that I know, I'll try and make sure that that never happens again. Okay, so in case anyone wasn't here because of the terrible frame rate, not frame weight, which I don't blame you if you weren't here for, look, because of the bad frame rate. One thing move this up here. So what we were looking at is trying to do my first game jam stuff. So this is the current skill set I have. So not so great in art or time management. Okay, it is out of 5 stars. Okay in planning sounds and music. I know ways to get sounds and music straightened out. And then I'd say I'm pretty good at programming. That would be my stronger part there. So we went over some ideas for how to implement the theme, and then like ideas for actual gameplay. So the one we're going to be looking at is taking pride in your work. And then this stuff we have over in the text document. Alright, so you want to be the best dishwasher in the world. Work your way up to the top by tackling tougher and tougher stacks of dishes. That's kind of like our game in 2 sentences. So maybe first person, maybe that's not the best way to think about it. So we'll say menu based, because I think that's a good way that we'll be able to work through some of this. So we're gonna have 4 different phases for dishes, I guess. Scrub, rinse, sanitize, and dry. So for dishes, silverware, this is just the different. We'll put a little question mark here because I'm not sure if I want to implement that. That would be like, I guess with these types of things, like you want to get some first and then you kind of work from there. So separate area for pots and pans, and then scrubbing. So what we were looking at with these areas is how we would actually get gameplay going with this. So we want to, for scrubbing, the main idea is there's gunk on the dishes. You want to use the correct scrubber on the correct dishes and loosen all the gunk off. So you want to choose a dish with the mouse from a menu and choose a scrubber from a menu. Use the mouse to scrub by holding it down and kind of dragging it across the dish. And then, so after that, you'd want to move the dish to the, we'll just say to rinsing. Okay, so rinsing, spray water to wash away the gunk. So I don't think there's really much that needs to be said here. So I mean, I guess we gotta like actually define how the game will work for that. So I guess we want to use the mouse again. So we want to choose a dish from the menu. And then choose the what's the word that I'm trying to think of? It's kind of like a shower head type thing. Let's just maximize this window actually. Maybe not maximize, but we'll make it bigger. There we go. Okay. Hose. I think that's close as we're gonna get. So we want to spray away gunk by, how would we do that? Yeah, probably the same way as the scrubber, by holding a mouse button and dragging the mouse across the dish. Okay, so at this point, what can we say should happen? So either you got all the gunk off or you didn't. We have to think of both cases there. So if gunk won't come off, then dish needs to be scrubbed more. So you can move dishes back to scrubbing. If cleaned, so, or if no gunk remains, then dish can be sanitized. And then you can move to sanitizing. Okay. So I think really that's all there is for rinsing there. So sanitizing, dish can be left in sanitizing. I think we need a float. We need like a chart here, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But I just want to get like the basics down before I kind of get that sort of thing going. So dish can be left in sanitizing. However long is needed. Once in, it is sanitized. Oh, okay. I think I know what we can do here to make at least a little more interaction. So we can say, choose a dish from the menu. We could literally have you dip it in. So dip in, so dip, we'll say, using the mouse, grab the dish, and dunk it in the sanitizing solution. Then shake off excess moisture. And we'll say, shaking reduces drying time, because that makes sense. So from here, we'll say you want to, so you grabbed it, you dunked it in, shake it off to, for the excess moisture, and then place on drying rack in an open spot. And we will say space is limited for there. So that way you have to kind of manage your time. Okay, so drying, like we just said, space is limited. So you want to make sure that you're kind of putting everything in its right spot. What can we say from here? We will have timers showing, or timers or meters or some kind, or progress bars showing dryness level for each item. And those will be affected by like how much moisture you shake off. Okay, so from here, so once dry, then you can put the dish away. So how would we represent that? Yeah, I think there'd just be like an area where we, or maybe just a spot on the menu that's like put away, drag, drop, boop, there it is. Okay. By dragging into okay, so once, and then that's it. So I'm trying to think like, where would we have some stuff that's where do the dishes start? So maybe we need an area for that. So we'll just say dish pile. Dishes start here. Drag to appropriate place to start washing. So that could be either the pots and pans or the rest of the dishes. Okay, so now I just wanted to get the start part finished. That sounded weird. So I guess since the pots and pans are kind of like a separate area, then we can... Or does it really need to be a separate area? Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it should just be all in one place for convenience. That might not be a bad idea, because I don't want to, like... Because if it's the same thing, does it really matter? Like, it shouldn't be. Yeah, okay. Let's... Alright, so I'm just thinking a little more with the dish pile. So the reason... So if we're getting rid of pots and pans, which might not be the worst idea, then we need to think about what purpose the dish pile serves. So if the dish pile is just like a list of the stuff you haven't started yet, okay, but do you really need to drag that over to like start scrubbing and things like that? Maybe they all have limited inventory for there. Yeah. That should be... There's all... Okay. Yeah, maybe they should just all have limited space. I think, yeah, okay, we'll do that. We'll say that they should all have limited space there. That'll kind of, because if the dish pile is unlimited, if it's unbounded, you can have any amount of dishes to start off with, then you want to be careful about what you choose. And especially if, let's say, you might have things saying like, hey, we need spatulas really quickly. You can streamline getting those done sooner than some other items, perhaps. Like you could mark it as like a priority or something, because that happens in real life. Okay, unlimited storage, and we can say other areas are limited in storage. So let's get rid of the separate area for pots and pans. And let's take soaking into the scrubbing area. Oh, geez. Across the dish? Gross. That's so gross. Fixed. Okay. So, let's say if scrubbing doesn't work, well, can soak by choosing dish liquid. Or how would that work? So we want it to be all mouse based. Menu based mouse controls. That's important. Mouse controls. Showing that's how we're going to be looking at controlling this. Okay. So how would we... Okay. Yeah, okay, so we'll say you would want to how can we represent this? So we're scrubbing in this area, we're scrubbing by choosing the scrub and bring it all across, like rubbing it across the dish. So if that doesn't work, you can I mean, it kind of... I think maybe where I'm having the trouble here is that you want to have... I'm trying to come up with one process for soaking, like, forks and spoons. And also giant pots. So, how can I represent that here? Because I'm thinking, like, you need dish liquid and you need water. So, for that sort of thing, then you would need what is it? Trying to like imagine in my head what it would kind of look like. Wow, this is tripping me up harder than I thought it would for this one little minor detail. So how would I implement this? So let's say if we had like a little thing for the actual item, and then like a little thing on the left for maybe just all the icons for the different so like the actual dish image would pop up here when you select it, and then like over here would be like a list of the stuff that you have ready for scrubbing. So how would you so you'd want to, you'd have to click on it. Okay, so oh, I think I got it. You just want to submerge it in, let's say, the soapy water. So let's say you have the dish, even let's say it's even just a plate. In the little box, I'll draw an image at some point. You just like you would for like dunking or like dunking in the sanitizer. You grab the dish and you just sink it down into the liquid and then wait for a while. And the longer you wait, the easier it is to get the stuff off. By grabbing the dish and submerging in dishwater. Hooray! And then, the longer it sits, we can say, the longer it sits, the easier gunk comes off when scrubbed. Okay, so that takes care of for that aspect of things. Okay, so I think that's good there. I don't have to really worry about that too much. Choose a dish. Form the menu. Lots of typos, geez. Okay, what else? I think that's... Oh, we do need a little bit more stuff here. We're getting close to being finished with this part. Okay, so how do you win? That is the important part. What is the objective abstractly is wash all the dishes, perhaps. But you want to be the best dishwasher, so maybe it's a score-based objective. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to do it. Score-based objective. So, in other words, the better and faster a dish is washed, the more points are awarded. And so maybe... Okay, so more... Yeah. Better and faster dishes washed, the more points are awarded. And then... points can be tracked as action, that's a weird way to pronounce that, word, as actions are performed. So positive actions equals more points. And then negative actions equals less points. Well, I don't want to say less points because that would still kind of imply that you're getting some points. I'd say you can get negative points. So points deducted. So we can say levels may have point thresholds and are timed okay, so yeah, points added, points deducted. Okay, so levels may have point threshold and are timed. What else? What else? What else? We should talk a little more about the dish pile, because I think that's where we can add some stuff here. So, dishes get added as time progresses. Sometimes in bunches. And we could say sometimes some items are needed as soon as possible. These are flagged and are worth extra points if done quickly. That's okay. That's an extra incentive. Like, hey, if you get this done as soon as you can, then they're gonna get some extra points there. I think that's a good incentive there. This is pretty comprehensive actually. And we've come to the conclusion that it's going to be menu based with mouse controls, which is great because that means that there is a kind of a solid plan going on there. All right, so I think that's pretty good for gameplay there. Let me save this. And we will save this as okay. So now that's not what I wanted to do there. Yeah, okay. So let's take a look. Yeah, so let's get rid of this, because we don't need that anymore. So let's do a diagram. So let's get a sample screen. Maybe kind of like that, which is convenient because now my head doesn't get in the way of that. Okay, so let's say this is the game screen. We need to figure out where we want everything. So I'm going to kind of just take this. I mean, you can't really see it there, but I'm going to just I'm going to kind of put this back the way it was. So that way I can, that is tiny. It's tiny compared, the font is tiny. I made it too small now. Now it's too big. Oh, now I'm just complaining. I can't even remember what the font was originally. That'll be fine. Okay. Okay, so we need a spot for everything. I guess we don't really need this. We have the gameplay. So let's... Alright, so let's call this... What do we want to call this? We should call this... just gameplay. Good enough. Okay. Alright, so, okay, let's... Alright, just want to double check there. So let's... So it's going to be menu based. So we want, like... So we have the dish pile, we have the scrubbing area, rinsing area, sanitizing area, and drying rack. So that's 5 right there. And then a box for put away. So I'm thinking we have something like this. Where we have like 3 areas. Not to scale, of course. And then we have something over here. And then we could have like the drying rack over here. And then, so these will be like the 3 sink areas. And you can kind of perform the actions on each of them. And so, and the drying rack will be up here to be like literally a rack on top there. And this will be like kind of the dish stack as, you know, things get piled up more and more over here. I was thinking a minute ago about maybe doing something like having an actual dish stack in each of those, but I think that'll be a little too complicated. I don't want to overcomplicate myself right now. Let's just work with what we got and go from there. All right, let's do this. Okay, we'll say this is our area here. I don't know how many we should actually we'll actually want to put in here. But we have something like this. Where it's just certain I don't know. It's a certain number of these pieces, and then we have this would be for each of these. And then we could maybe have something like that for... okay, one thing at a time. So maybe we could have... okay, well, maybe we'll just do this and then have, like, some kind of menu thing. So maybe just we'll represent that by a bar here, and then yeah, like a red bar, and then that's good. So that way we know that scrolls. Alright, so for... okay, I think actually... so levels are timed. So we'll say... whoops. We'll do that, and then maybe we'll have... we'll just do very simple here. So, alright, and then we'll have... okay, so that's where our timer's gonna be. So that'll say how much time is left. I don't know if it'd be better to have a consistent time or not between rounds. We'll have to see. What else? What else? I guess we'll... excuse me. So this will be our drying rack here. So this should have a lot of space up here because it's going to take a while to get everything done. And then we'll have just a bunch of spaces up here. I don't know how many exactly. We'll figure it out. That'll be a balancing knob we can turn if we need to. All right. So what else? Oh, we need the different spots for the different pieces here. Alright, these aren't going to be to scale anymore. I was trying to keep it consistent, but it was like... time management is important. Oh no, now this one's not straight. Now it is. Okay. Alright, enough time on making straight lines. So we need the appropriate scrubber. So let's, okay. Yeah, alright, so let's do this. Alright, and then we'll do kind of like something similar. Maybe lighter over here for the third sink. And then okay, that way it's a little more visual there. Okay, so what do? Okay, so let's say we have a dish. Alright, let's say that's a dish. So we want something for the tools you can use. So we want like, okay, so let's say the first area, we have the three, I think I missed something. Okay. Yeah, there was something I was forgetting, and it was the, like hand washing aspect of it. Because if you're taking stuff off the drying rack and putting it away, you want to make sure your hands are dry. So that's important. So we need a general space for that on here. Oh, and we need the display for the points as well. So where can we put these things? And we can move stuff around, which is nice. So like each of these like gray areas is a spot where dishes can go. And they're different stages. And you can kind of Alright, so I'm thinking in my head how to kind of account for some of this stuff. Maybe I'm going to write this in this over here, but we'll say maybe for controls left click is to like select things and kind of like grab the dish and moving it from thing to thing, and then right click is to use a tool. I think that might work pretty well. Alright, so like I said, I'm just gonna kind of do it. So mouse to move items from we'll say, alright, left click, select. So left click will select items and grab them and drag to move to wherever is needed. Maybe instead of items, should be mostly dishes. So selects dishes, grabs them, and drags. And you want to drag to move wherever is needed. And then right click. Uses a tool. Actually, also, so we'll say left click will also select a tool. If not grabbing a dish. Alright, and right click uses a tool by dragging it over the dish. Okay, so those are pretty simple controls, which is really nice, actually. I like this. I like the simple control scheme here. Just left click, right click. That's all you need. Okay, so that takes care of that sort of thing. Alright, so we need a place for your score. We have a place for the time remaining. Okay, so we need... Yeah, so we have a place for the time, we need a place for the score, and we need a place for the tools. Actually, maybe... Okay, I think I got an idea forming. So let's say... So, okay, so what tools do you need, first off? You need... Let's say... a soft scrubber, a tougher scrubber, and then steel wool. For the 3 types of like scrubbing. You need a hose for rinsing. And then a grabber to actually grab it. Like a hand icon, basically, I'm thinking. So that's 5. Is there anything else? I'm just gonna look over this thing real quick. Okay. The music stopped. Let's go again. Feel free to let me know if you guys are sick of hearing this song. Alright, so I think we just need the 5. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say we have this area here. We'll say half of this is going to be for those types of tools. The word I'm looking for. So we'll say we're going to separate this into 3 different spots. And then we'll separate these in half. So what we're going to do is these are going to be our main tools. First, let's save this because that is important. Excuse me. Alright, so now, where's the tool? Oh, there it is. Okay. That's, alright. What am I trying to do here? I am trying to do a thing. I'm not going to draw the icons for those. Alright, so let's say, so we have, so let's say we have light. That does not look very good. That looks better. So we have light scrubber, then we'll say we have heavy scrubber. And then we have steel wool, the toughest of all of them. And we'll say this is going to be the hose, which is very important. And then we'll have here, this will be the hand, which will allow you to move stuff. Actually, didn't I just say, like, left click selects which tool to use, and right click uses the tool? Yeah, then I guess you really don't need that. Okay. So that means I'm just going to have to adjust our diagram a little bit. I'll leave it like that for now, just because I don't know if I want to introduce hand washing or not as a mechanic. We could just assume it's being done. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to add in here, we'll make this red. No, not red. Pink. Okay, and so what we're going to do here is, or maybe yellow, actually. That's not what I wanted to do. Nah, I kind of like the pink. Alright, so let's say it's going to be certain items. I'll just do 4 here for convenience. So we'll say, like, these are going to be items that need to be done right away. Or, like, little pop-ups will come up here like, hey, we need spoons or something. So getting those done right away will give you a point bonus. And then maybe it'll be like the amount of extra points you'll get over here. Like the item on this column, and then like the extra points or something. And then like a little description over here saying like, we're running out of spoons, we need some as soon as you can get them, or something like that. Oops. Alright, and then okay, so this will be the kind of area for that. Okay. What else do we need space for? I kind of like how this layout is at the moment. I think might be able to do some nice mirroring. But I want to make sure there's nothing else we want to have in here first. Okay, so we have all this stuff, and then so we have a little space here. We have space over here. All right, I think I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna say all right. We're gonna go do that. And then we were going to have this is where you can drag the dish to be put away. And then we can have, so here's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to take this. And actually I'm going to stretch that out a little bit. 'Cause I don't want to redraw that. Good enough. Alright, and then we can have area here. This is going to be where our points go. So once you put it away, like you drag it to there, boom, it's done. And then your points get logged over in this sort of area. So we'll say we'll do that. And then we will have yeah, there's no reason that we need to go that far in depth with all this. With like finding, I'll put it in the right spot in the store. No, that's, leave it how it is. It's looking good so far. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be streaming for. Just as a heads up. Because it's getting a little late for me. But the good news is, I don't really get that tired. So, I mean, that means we're going to have, at least for a little while, lots of, well, not that much yawning, basically. Okay, so now, let's say these are all the completed items. And then these are the points. It'll log your points for each of them. And then we could even do here for the, ooh, okay. Okay, so then this will be alright, so that'll be the total score here. Alright, cool. So this side here is stuff that needs to get done. And then you will be doing stuff from left to right, basically, over here. And then on the right side is all the stuff that's been put away. And then at the end, it'll kind of run through everything and show you how many points you got and everything. Alright, so I think this is pretty good. This is a pretty good setup right now. So, with this sort of setup, I think that it should be, this seems like I'm trying to think of like how gameplay would go. Like, let's say you had 5 minutes to get everything done. Clearly the number of slots is going to have to change depending on what you have to work with. Like, maybe even these could just be like just one row instead of like two. Okay. So... Alright, I think that... There's this other area that we don't really need anymore, actually. Yeah, we don't need this area really. So, actually, one thing we can do. No, should be fine. So just kind of take that. Oops. Okay, and then we will take this and make it look really weird. Beautiful. Okay, so that's... seems good. This seems like a good layout for everything. And uses up... It's got a lot of clutter to it, but I think that's good. Because when you have all this stuff just, you know, kind of worked. No, blah. When you have all this stuff that you need to get done on the left-hand side, it's going to be nice feeling like you're moving things along from left to right and kind of going from there. Maybe I'm just thinking like trying to streamline the process. Maybe I was about to say like maybe it would be better to just prevent the player from moving backwards. But I think that's... Ooh, excuse me. Here I was saying a couple minutes ago I don't really get that tired. So I was thinking about maybe making it so that it's not possible to bring like a dish backwards, but I think that should still be there should still be penalties for that because you know, sometimes mistakes happen. Maybe? I'll have to think about that, I guess. Design decision for the future. Should going backwards be allowed? So, but I think this layout's pretty good. Everything's nice and compact. Your main area is right in the front here. Maybe I could label this a little bit better. What happens if I just... maybe brown. We'll go brown for no discernible reason. And then maybe a little extra color there. Now I'm thinking maybe it wasn't the best idea to have brown there. Well, that just makes it blend in. Yeah, that color works. I just wanted to make it look a little nicer is all. Okay, I think that's good. Yeah, this is nice. I like this. Okay, so I think I'm going to end things off soon. But before I do, we need to come up with a plan for next time. I mean, I could label this to be like, here's what each of these things are, but I think that it's kind of... I mean, I'm the only person working on this project right now, so I think I can figure out where things go. Okay, yeah, we're definitely ending things off soon. So I think the plan for next time is we want to make sure... Okay, so we have a plan in place. We have an idea for what everything should look like, where it should go. We have an idea, more importantly, we have an idea kind of fits the theme, and we have a good idea of how gameplay should work. It should be all based on the mouse and all these little menus. So that's good. Getting those gameplay decisions done now will help a lot more in the future. So next time, I think we will actually be doing some coding. So I don't really have a super... I don't know when exactly I'm going to be streaming this, but I'm going to try for as many days as I can until this game jam is complete. But I can't promise anything in particular. When I can work on it, I can work on it. It's kind of how it is. Hi, Domino. You want to say hi? I can't pick you up. You won't let me. But I can say hi. Paying the cat tax. Okay. So yeah, next time I think we're gonna actually do some coding. I'm gonna be using Unity just because I'm not like 100% familiar with it, but I think I know enough to get me started. And it should be obvious that this is kind of more of a 2D game rather than a 3D one, which hopefully makes things a little bit easier when I'm trying to sort this stuff out. Yeah, I think that's good for now. So we have a plan for next time. Next time is start programming, see how far we can get, and see what we can do from there. So thank you guys for sticking with me, especially with all those FPS issues. I'm gonna look into why looking at just the the whole monitor gives that much of a drop. So that just seems like that shouldn't be happening at all. So, yep, I guess that's going to wrap things up for today. So, my plan is to maybe stream tomorrow evening. Although, like I said, I can't promise anything. If not, I can stream on Sunday, I think, as well. So, one of those days, I will have another stream where we can actually get some coding done. So, yeah, I will see you folks the next time I stream this, I guess. So, hope you enjoyed, and things will go smoother next time once we actually start coding and seeing what we need to do. So, yeah, see you next time. Take care.